Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you guys how to replant your established cactus garden in the ground. Along the way I'm going to give you tips and tricks on how to easily do that without getting yourself impaled or the cactus damaged. If you guys like the video, don't forget to give me a like, subscribe, maybe even a share. I really do appreciate it, guys. This is Cactus Uncle, so welcome back. I'm going to try to make a lot more long-form content like this for you guys over the next few months. Also, guys, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. If you guys have any videos you want me to make, put them in the comments. I will respond to everything, and if it's a good suggestion, I'll make a video about it. So let's dive right in, guys. So we are going to start with the agave because I have space here to fit the trowel in. If I could fit a full-size shovel in here, it'd be easier, but it's a pretty small planter. So you can see I'm going to work the agave out by kind of digging out the sides and slowly getting underneath it. They have pretty strong roots, but they're not very expansive. So if I can get kind of around it and underneath it, I should be able to pop it out. So I speed up the video here so you don't have to watch all of it, but this gives you like the general gist of what I have to do here. It's slow but steady progress of like working it out, pulling the dirt out and all that fun stuff. You can see here, that's when I realize it's pretty much out. I just have to get the right leverage. You should wear gloves while you're doing this, guys. They have spines on the tips, so they can make you bleed, so be careful. I've been doing it a long time, so I'm pretty good about not getting poked. So you can see here, that's the plant out of the ground. I'm going to pull the weeds off of it because you don't want to transplant those into your next planter or in the ground. But you can see this is a Queen Victoria agave. It's popular for its like dark green color and its compact form. These don't get very big. They're like maybe 2 by 2, maybe a tiny bit bigger when they're mature. But yeah, this guy's probably about 5-6 years old. He was grown from seed. Next, we're going to move on to the Pharaoh cactus. So we buy these from a vendor in Tucson, and he doesn't really like label them properly. He kind of lets open pollination happen, meaning that the hybrids, he doesn't really know which two plants made the hybrid. He might know which plant he pulled the seed from, but the other parent plant he might not know. So this is, I just call it a Pharaoh cactus hybrid. But you've seen these before. Some people call them compass barrel. They are native to the Southwest. They have big hooked spines on them. So they are really cool plants. Definitely a desert native staple out here in the desert. Last but not least, we are going to pull out this little cholla, and of course it pricked me. This little cholla piece that I just dropped in there a few months ago, and you can see how readily just a random chunk of cholla will root. It has a pretty expansive root system for its small size, so I will replant him somewhere else and he'll get a new home. And then let's work on the big one. So now that I have a little bit more space, I can get the shovel in there, the full-size shovel, to go ahead and work some of that dirt out. And I'll create just like a bit of a cavity because I'm gonna like use leverage to pull this guy out going forward. So I'm gonna pull a bunch of dirt out of there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and break out the 1/4-inch irrigation tubing. This stuff is ideal. It doesn't break, and it's also thick enough to where it doesn't cut into the cactus when you're lifting a heavy one with it. So you see here, I'm just trying to work it around the top there. Where it's cresting on the very top, I'm going to wrap the irrigation tubing around it, and that's going to be my leverage point. So you can see I kind of just make a sling, for lack of a better term, so I can manipulate the top of the plant. And then I'll just start digging it out, guys. This is a bit of a slow process. It takes a minute or two, but I do speed it up after a minute here. This cactus is definitely my favorite in the planter. It's called a Myrtillo geometrizans cristata. So it's a crested cactus. That's what you're looking at on the top here. It's like got crazy deformations. It's like a genetic thing that kind of happens to some cactus. Technically can happen to most plants. You'll see it on flowers where they kind of like do a double head, or like plants that grow too many leaves out of one section of the plant. Cresting is pretty unique, but it is technically it makes it harder for the plant to survive, but when collectors see it, you know, we go crazy about it. So this plant is actually pretty neat and cool. So I do love this one. I've been growing it in this planter for probably 3 or 4 years. You can see here, now that I finally got it out, this sucker has some amazing roots on it. And he's quite a plump cactus. You see how easy it is to manipulate it with that irrigation tubing? That's the best trick I can teach you guys. It really makes life easy. So now we're going to dive right into planting it in the ground. So So this part can get a little bit more complicated based on where you live. I live in Phoenix, so it's very dry and very hot out here. We do have very compacted clay soil. It does retain a pretty decent amount of moisture. So out here, though, it's so hot and so dry and doesn't rain enough to where this soil does work. If you live somewhere with a lot more rain and you're going to put these in the ground or in a planter, just make sure you have soil that drains really well. Obviously, for planters, you just kind of buy that at your garden store in like a cactus and succulent mix. But when it comes in the ground, you can always amend the dirt with like pumice or perlite or things like that to improve the drainage. So let's go ahead and plug this guy in. You can see here I'm still using the 1/4-inch irrigation tubing to manipulate it. Makes it easy to like straighten it and kind of move it around as I'm like trying to situate it. And then you'll see here, I'm just going to kind of shove the roots that don't want to go in the hole back in there. Make sure they are below the soil level. And then that looks like a pretty good placement. So I'm just going to start burying this bad boy here. So if you look closely, like I'm using that irrigation tubing as like kind of like a, you know, for lack of a better term, like a noose or a sling on top of it. So it's kind of holding it together, but as soon as I get enough dirt in there, I don't have to use that anymore. So it kind of holds itself up. Right now it's still pretty unstable, so I have to pack dirt in there. It does take a little bit of time. You got to be patient with this, because if you don't pack the dirt down and, you know, take care of all that, then it will end up like kind of like leaning or sinking in the dirt later on. So let's go ahead and take our time and we will pack this bad boy down. And yeah, I think this one's going to look really good in the cactus garden here. We do have a lot of like unique and rare plants, but these crested ones, while they're not like crazy rare, I just love the forms. They're pretty unique. And as you guys can see, I got it in there without breaking any branches or damaging it. So this is kind of the easiest way to do it with that irrigation tubing. If you try to just like manhandle it with like carpet and straps, usually you end up breaking an arm or making the arms like stab each other, causing like bits of damage. So let's move on now. We're going to go ahead and do the agave. This has much more shallow roots. This is going to be a small hole to dig. You can see here I kind of cut out all that nonsense, and it's just going to be me like shoving dirt around it. At first it looks a little bit silly, but once you get dirt on all sides, then you can kind of start leveling it out, packing it down, and making sure it's straight and all that fun stuff. So I'll speed it up here. That's kind of ASMR, like speed planting, right? Once I finish like packing dirt around the sides with my boots, I usually use the trowel or the back end of the shovel to kind of pack it in there. Once you guys water it, the dirt will settle a bit and you'll probably have to add some more. Same concept with this guy, just dig the hole, get the roots in there. Pretty self-explanatory, pack the dirt down. Once you get them watered and settled, you'll get stuff like this, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really appreciate any feedback or any shares or any, you know, just likes and comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. This is Cactus Uncle. I appreciate you guys coming back. I'm going to make a lot more long-form content like this for you guys. Thanks.